Hello and welcome to stage 2 of the Tour De Zwift. Again, we're in Cathay, which means we are doing the long route today. So the course today is 3 laps of the Richmond UCI reverse course. Total distance is around 48.5 kilometres and elevation gain of 467 metres. So each lap today has 3 punchy climbs in it, so that's 9 opportunities to get dropped each lap. About 1,200 people are starting the ride in this category, and once again I've set myself a target of a top 10% finish, so that is a top 120 placing. So let's get started. So as always we have to go fairly hard at the start. However, being such a long course, you need to be mindful of having enough in the tank to last the entire race. Still, I managed to get with a front group at this start, but the price is a lot of red, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. We get to climb 1 and I managed to keep up with the front group. Taking on some advice I've got recently since the last video, I've put in a bit more effort in on the climbs, and also I've ramped up my trainer difficulty a little to help too, although I am finding that the increased trainer difficulty hurts a little on the transition over the crest of climbs, so there's definitely a balance I need to find there. So the second climb comes up, however it doesn't go quite as well. I push a little, and being in the red so much on an almost 50-kilometre race just isn't going to happen for me, so I lose the front group. This was totally expected, but you gotta try, right? I ease off a bit here for some rest and pick up the next group as they come through, and we stick together through to the next climb. This is a nice easy pace, as you can see from the power graph, and we're still in a good position, top 5% at the moment. So we get to the final climb of lap 1, and I try and put a bit of an effort in early, but I just don't have it in me. So by the end of the climb, I've not managed to cling on to that group, unfortunately. So I take this as an opportunity to really get a rest. The group behind me is 30 seconds behind, which gives me an opportunity to chill out a bit, so I take that. The pack come through and I jump on. We're now hovering around that top 10% mark that I'm targeting. However, we still have more than 2 laps to go, so I'm thinking that's not really going to happen now. I learn about the last part of the course, however. At this point, it's really flat for the last few kilometres, and in the bunch it's actually really easy to stay tight and fast. So yeah, remember this for the next 2 laps. So into lap 2, and in the first 2 climbs, which are close together on this course, the group does get split. So I don't do so well in the first climb, as you can see, but I do put an effort in on the second, which means I catch up a small group. And we then regroup with the second half of the large group we were in before the climb. So life's still okay at this point. So it's fast and easy now for a while. These folk do seem to genuinely want to work together. We get slightly drawn out on the climb, as you can see, but then we regroup at the top. So these people seem pretty kind. There's also no sprinting at the sprints, and we keep it tight as we go into the final lap. As you can see, it's raining ride-ons too, so everyone's really encouraging each other to keep it together. So over the next 2 climbs at the start of lap 3 we get strung out again. However, I get the aero at the top of the first climb. Now this is possibly one of my finest moments tactically on Zwift. I deploy the aero and fly through the group and up the first half of the second climb. However, I just don't carry on this momentum. I don't go hard enough in part 2 of the second climb, and I lose all of that advantage that I just gained. So yeah, what a fail. It also feels like the point now where I'm definitely not going to get my top 10% finish. So at this point I have a lovely little rest. The others who fell off are quite far back now, and I want them to pick me up. So I'm picked up by a small group, and again these guys seem to want to work together. One guy offering to lead up the climb as he has a feather, for example, and we keep it tight up this final climb. I do almost drop off at one point, however I put in a bit of an effort to jump back on successfully. This is the final climb of the race, and I know that at the top it's just that flat section home, and I need the group to get me there. So at this point, our little group here get a little bit complacent. We've got over 20 seconds in hand over the next group. However, it doesn't take that long for them to catch us. So yeah, they catch us sleeping with just a few K to go, and they come through. So you can see how easy we've been going by the graph at the bottom. However, as they come through, we push on and we grab onto them, and luckily we managed to join this group and be with them for the final part of the race. This does step it up a gear. We're all putting a bit more effort in now towards the end. So 200 metres to go, and I decide to give it a little effort. Nothing amazing, but it does manage to push me to the front of the group through quite a few other riders, and I finish 129th. So that's just outside of the top 10% I was targeting, but it's not far off. I'm pretty happy with that for such a long event. I also feel I've learnt a lot about this course too, and I'll definitely be looking to race here in the future, as with a bit of work on those climbs, it's a fairly simple course to get right, with the 3 distinct sections. So that's the end of this video. As always, thank you for watching. Leave a like if you did, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to see more cycling videos.